Emi Martinez and Mbappe. This is starting to veer into like weird territory now, right? It's just really strange. Like, I mean, you saw Martinez going up and consoling Mbappe as soon as, you know, Argentina had beaten France in the penalty shootout. But then you've got him doing what he did in the dressing room, going and doing this. It's just, I mean, everybody knows Emi Martinez is, you know, he's a bit of a wild one. But, you know, is he overstepping the mark a little bit with this sort of obsessional behavior with Mbappe, or is it fair game?
I like it because he's showing character and personality. And I've been one person that's always been about players wanting to show more character, more personality, because that's the kind of generation I grew up in, and I like it. I just don't get it, because to do that to Mbappe, he still scored a hat-trick past you and a penalty. So I don't understand how you can be saying he's a baby. When you look at that World Cup again, he still scored 4 goals, which is a phenomenal thing to do. You know, you look at Harry Kane's situation, but Mbappe scored 4 past you. So I don't understand how you can do that about Mbappe. And they came so close to losing it. So I think he could have celebrated. I still don't personally understand the Mbappe part of it. For me, it really makes no sense to me, because Mbappe can say I still scored 4 goals past you.
I'll tell you exactly where it's coming from. It's twofold. It's one, Mbappe's pre-match press conference, and where he took a shot at South American football and really world football, talking about the elitism of European football, how Europe is so far ahead because the players play against each other almost week in and week out, and through the Champions League and whatnot in South America and the rest of the world, there's a deficiency there. So there's a bit of pride that's becoming this weird, awkward thing with Martinez, where I get it. You need someone to hate. You need locker room banter. You need almost bulletin board material. You got that. Mbappe gave you that ahead of the World Cup. Now it's time to let it go, man. But hey, Emi Martinez, you got the Golden Glove Award. You're a little bit weird with how you celebrate it. That's on your prerogative. But you got the Golden Glove Award, got tournament team. You're enjoying your best life. Hey, as long as he's not doing this in 2 weeks' time, a month's time, or when Villa ever play United again, I'm okay with it. Let the man breathe. But hopefully he's off the Quilmes beer, which is Argentinian beer, for those who don't know.
You know what, Vic's right there for me. I think for me, what that does show is a lack of class, because you can have a character, you can have a personality. Yes, it's a lack of class, because again, Mbappe scored 4 goals past him. And I think for me though, Mike, when you look back at this World Cup, think about things that were said. Argentina played on the fact of, and all of the wording and the narrative that was coming from that Argentinian dressing room was us against the world, us against the world. They went into a siege mentality, and I feel that's what took them to win the World Cup. So they created this mentality of no one likes us, no one respects us, everyone thinks we're not good enough, and they created that mentality in the dressing room, and that's what took them all the way through. And if you look at the previous 2 World Cups that Argentina won, it was the same thing. And the head of that kind of mentality again was Diego Maradona. Created that mentality. No one likes us, no one respects us. So that's what carried them to win the World Cup. And I think that Vic's comment is right. It just shows a lack of class. I personally don't get it. You've just won the World Cup. Enjoy your moment, celebrate it. And there's obviously the talk about his gesture with the Golden Glove as well. He is a big personality. And I think that I probably wouldn't have mind being in the dressing room with him, but I wasn't someone who was going to back down, and I would have probably knocked him down a peg or 2 as well. And if it had to get a bit physical, it probably could have got physical, but I was fine with that.
So NRC versus Emi Martinez coming to pay-per-view near you. Where do we get to?
I've dealt with a lot worse. I've dealt with a lot worse, a lot bigger personality than Martinez in a dressing room.
Well, I think something about it. And guys, by the way, keep the comments coming in. There's some fantastic chat that's been coming in, whether it's been about the betting, the gambling in football, and Emi Martinez's shithousery, which I think we can say now, seeing as it's entered into the footballing lexicon around the world. But no, like sticking on this, I mean, I think one of the most interesting aspects of this kind of obsessional behavior from Emi Martinez towards Mbappe is the way that sort of Lionel Messi is there, like awkwardly at the side, like, you know, I want to celebrate this World Cup success right now. Like, I want to avoid getting electrocuted. I don't want to have to keep getting airlifted out of public places, and I don't want to have Emi next to me, like, you know, keep going off on one about Mbappe while people are like lighting these make-believe coffins of Mbappe about it. But it is going to be an interesting, you know, reunion between Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. It's made especially more interesting given the fact that Mbappe and Hakimi today, so on Wednesday, have already returned to training, which I mean, in many ways is impressive. I think taking Nigel's point from earlier is also maybe a little bit worrying in terms of sort of the physical aspect. But I mean, I'm going to come to you first, Mike. You know, what does this say about Mbappe and Hakimi? Does this turn up the pressure on the likes of Neymar and Marquinhos to get back into training even more quickly? Because, you know, surely this is a way of Mbappe saying like, right, well, I might not have won the World Cup, but I definitely now want to go and win the Champions League and achieve something this season that keeps, you know, people talking about me in the most positive way possible.
I think there's a political game going on in the PSG locker room. It makes me wonder, I should say, I shouldn't think. It makes me wonder if there is a political game going on and a power struggle between the likes of an Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. It's already been publicized a bit of the strife between the likes of Mbappe and Neymar. But if you're Mbappe, this is the best thing you can do is you're one of the leaders of this team. You're one of the faces of this team. And now you're creating a standard. Now you're creating a standard that says, hey, Neymar, there's now pressure on you. What's your move going to be? Messi, obviously winning. He's going to have more rope to come back. I'd be shocked if Messi comes back before the Champions League.
By the way, just to add in that there is a match on the 28th. There's a match on the 1st. And the latest reports in France say that Neymar won't be back in time for the first match on the 28th. We'll wait and see what happens regarding Marquinhos. But there's no expectation at PSG at this moment in time, allegedly, according to those reports, that Neymar will be back in time to feature in at least the first of those two games.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think with PSG right now, there's a bit of a locker room shift. There's a bit of a culture shift. And I think we've seen the dividends paid in that and how they've started the season. Now the move is on the rest of the players, and it puts pressure on them to see, do you want to continue to be part of the project? The old stance of showing up whenever you want, going on holiday, taking extended time off, maybe that's changing. And hey, if it's going to change, Mbappe and Hakimi, players who were standouts at the World Cup, it's going to change through them.
I think for me, JJ, I look at Mbappe, and I think for me, Mbappe's done himself very well. I think his image, the way he's conducted himself, it's actually benefited him and made him become probably more likable, in my opinion. The way he handled himself, he had a fantastic World Cup. Let's not take that away from him. He had an absolute fantastic World Cup. You look at his achievements already, and he's only 24. And you can see he's got a lot more World Cups in him. And I just think that still Messi is the top. Everyone wanted Messi to win. Messi's finally won the World Cup, and now there's the debate whether he is the greatest of all time or not. I think still that conversation is still subjective. But Neymar, for me, is the one that's worrying me. I think with everything that's gone on, and even with the injury and they're not expecting him back, why is he not back at Paris Saint-Germain getting treatment or rehab? Why is he not there? That's the problem. But I can see this whole Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi thing falling apart now. I think by the end of this season, something's going to happen. One of them is going to go. As much as Paris Saint-Germain would love to keep Lionel Messi again and keep Mbappe, one of them has to go. I can't see that lasting again into next season. It's going to be interesting, but the way Mbappe has conducted himself and the World Cup he had, I think he's done nothing wrong, but only enhance himself, his reputation, and not just being on the pitch, but off the pitch. But I feel that he's made a real big statement now to say he is the next face of world football. Whether he will win a Champions League in Paris Saint-Germain still yet to be seen. I doubt it, in my opinion. And I feel it will be inevitably that he will have to move to one of the big clubs. I'm not saying Paris Saint-Germain is not big, but as JJ likes to point out, even Aston Villa has won the Champions League while Paris Saint-Germain hasn't. Just the truth. It really is going to be interesting. But like I said, I think, guys, we're going to have to wait for a couple of games in to see where all these teams are at, because it's just going to come so thick and fast. So much is going to happen from now till then. Players going to get into training, get injured, as we saw before the World Cup. It really is going to be interesting. And obviously, Messi, I'm sure, will come back more so for the Champions League games than anything else, is when they'll probably want him. Because I think that's going to be Paris Saint-Germain's top priority now, really is the Champions League. You know,